Thank you, and welcome to Why Women Wednesday. Today, we are going to hear from the amazing Natalie Avenell from the Telegraph Society. Natalie is a Melbourne-based writer and biographer, and today she's going to be talking about +1, being comfortable being seen, finding your message in your mess, and then prompts and fresh ideas to share your story. So over to Natalie.
Thanks so much, Dia, and thanks everyone for joining us today. My name's Natalie Avenell, and I'm the founder of the Telegraph Society. So I work with people to help them share their stories with their families. So in particular, I don't work with celebrities, I don't work with sports stars. They have a whole group of people who help them to share their story, and I think that there's enough of that. But there are so many ordinary people who would never have their stories shared or saved, and they're people that I love working with. It's particularly true when it comes to women. Women's stories are often sidelined, they're often told by someone other than themselves, or it just becomes really difficult to relate to these stories because the women are either turned into saints or harlots, neither which is probably true. So I really help women in particular, though I definitely work with men, but today's message is about working with women, and I've titled it +1. So I thought I'll start with that. So on my fridge at the moment, I've got a wedding invitation, which is wonderful. I'm still in that stage of life where we get wedding invitations. This is to a cousin's wedding, and it's got my husband's name on it and my name on it, and it's wonderful. My name's listed, it's got all the details, and it's beautifully done, and that's fantastic. But it's not the only wedding I've been invited to. My husband, this is several years ago now, my husband was invited to his sister's wedding. So, being a sibling, he got an invitation, but wasn't dating anyone seriously according to the family. So he got a +1, and that's fine. That +1 happened to be me. So I went to this wedding, and I was a guest without a name. I was a +1. And honestly, after spending the weekend there, it's rather surprising I ever went on another date with him because it was rather atrocious, but honestly, that's a story for another time. But I was a +1. I was a guest without a name. And the more I work with women, I am more and more convinced that they are living their lives as +1. And that is not appropriate, that is not okay, and that is something that can be changed. So I think you can go to get what I'm trying to say when it comes to being a +1. It's being there, being seen, but still being unseen. It's accompanying someone else and supporting someone else. These are things that women do very, very well. They do it better than many men, most men. And when I speak to women, when they're given my services as a gift, they'll say, "Oh, I don't really have a story to share, Natalie. No, I've just had an ordinary life, nothing too important has happened, no one will be interested." And yet these women are the most important person in the entire world to a whole group of people. They are the most important person. So when you think about the battlefield stories, when soldiers cry out, they're crying out for their mothers. I mean, it's an old and trite thing, but it's true. The same is true in the dementia ward. I don't know if you're aware of this, but for mums who've gone through the process of raising their children and all of those things, the last memories to leave someone are those of their mother. And so they always, it's very common, you'll go to someone who is suffering with dementia, the person that they look for, the food that they want to eat, the cuddles that they're looking for are yours. And so there is no way that I think it's acceptable for women to think that they are a +1. So I really want to work on women being comfortable being seen. And one of the ways to do that is to accept that your message is in your mess. Your message is not in your perfection. So how do we do that? Well, if you look at, say, a perfect life or a perfect story, you can go to Instagram, you'll see hundreds of them. And then follow that same account for several years and you'll see it all fall apart when the foundations aren't there. Or maybe that never falls apart, and that's fantastic too. But those stories we read as children, they're called fairy tales. They're the perfect person living this perfect life, marrying this perfect person, and they lived happily ever after. And they're they're not relatable. That's not the story that your children need to hear. That's not the story that your family need to hear, and then even other women need to hear. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's got the perfect family, the perfect career, the perfect finances, or the perfect business. And so we want to share stories of raising children through financial insecurity, divorce, mental health issues, bad connections, because all of it is lessons learned, and it's truth, and it's your truth and your journey. And that's the thing that connects with people, that resounds with people, and that echoes lessons into your future generations. Giving your story to your family is like giving them a head start in life. As parents, we always want to give our children a head start. We want to give them the best education, the best nutrition, the best of everything we can. And giving them the lessons that we learned, the hard lessons we learned, is a way of supporting them and moving them forwards in a really positive way. So I want to encourage all the women here, don't live as a +1. So what does that mean? It means firstly recognizing there's huge values in you right now. You're not a sidekick. You're not a prologue in someone else's story. The life you are living now is important. The joys you've experienced, the joy you gave others. And so it's a process, and I think it's difficult for women to get to that point because so often we're sidelining ourselves. It's not my husband who's making me a +1, it's me. It's not my children who are making me a +1, it's me. So how do we overcome that? Well, there's a few prompts to begin that I've got to help women begin to start sharing their story as it is, whether it's with friends, with family, online. You look at some of these online business accounts, you look at TikTok. The TikTok ones with the greatest views, they're not perfect. Their hair isn't perfect, their body isn't perfect, their message isn't perfect, but it's real and that truth resonates. So even though you've got something hard, something that might have destroyed your plans, don't wait for perfection, because if you wait for perfection, your voice will be silenced, and that would be a real tragedy. So ladies, come and share your imperfection. Let others in on your journey. You don't have to let them in at the end of your journey. So often we're waiting to say, look what I've done, look what I've achieved. If you follow these 12 steps that I went back and started over here, that's not the same. You lose some of your power. Let people in on your journey from day one. Say, I'm starting here. Come with me along the journey. It's important to let go of your perfection seeking. Perfection seeking is not good for your mental health. It's not good for your physical health, and it's not necessary. Let your voice be heard, ladies. Speak up and share your story with friends. There are so many of your friends who might never even know what it took for you to get where you are today. Share the lessons you've learned, share the lessons that you're living. No one's waiting for you to overcome them. You're the only one who's waiting to overcome. So in summary, because I think I've got 1 minute, we are not +1s to our partners. We are not +1s to our children. We are not a +1 to the dreams and ambitions of others. I will encourage you to share your journey as you go. Don't wait. We don't need perfection. We just need your authentic truth. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Natalie. That was wonderful. And if you want to connect with Natalie, I'll pop the website down below, the Telegraph Society. And you can reach out and ask any questions of how to tell your story.